TT Productions, bringing adventures to audio.
Dun,
Recording in
dun.
progress.
Do you want to leave? No.
It's too late. You're already a part of this. Louise.
That's hilarious.
Can't
Do you want to leave?
You're being
Oh, it's
recorded
alright.
now, so too late.
Yes, it's set in stone now. Hello, everybody. Well,
Hello.
YouTube. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, YouTube. Welcome to Behind the Duvet, a future series, Miasma. We go around the room and just say who we are. There's this unknown gentleman up on my screen in the top left. Matt, who are you? What are you doing
I've
this?
no idea. Who am I? That is a good question. Who am I really? Anyway, to quote a Doctor Who, me, in fact, I'm quoting me. Who am I really? I am Matt and I play future Doctor. Wasn't obvious.
And yes, the next one of our repeat offenders, as it was phrased earlier on this call, Tina.
Repeat offenders. Oh my god, you make me sound like I know, like a drug dealer or something. No, I play Nevea, and I'm not a drug dealer. Just to clarify. Yeah,
She's
like
not
a
a drug
chair.
dealer. She just hits people with chairs. Exactly.
yeah, I hit
Just
people
needs
with
one
chairs.
chair.
As we may
I'm
have
good at that.
mentioned in previous.
Just give me a
Behind the
chair
Duvet.
and I'm deadly. Yeah.
Who else have we got going on here? We've got Amy.
Yes, I'm in playing the very kind of opposite age to what I had before.
Yes.
Where I'm playing Amelia Cavendish. So I've gone from in the Keeper's Door, I've
elder
gone from
one.
hundreds of years old. I've now gone all the way down to about 14.
Yeah, possibly
Very,
even
very
younger,
big
isn't it?
range.
But possibly
there.
even younger. It's not actually ever clarified how young
Stated, is
Miss
it?
Amelia is. So yeah.
And
so-
welcoming to the future series, we've got Louise.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. I am relatively new to TT. This is my first future Doctor. I play Sybil Bennett for my sins.
Oh.
Chef in the
I'm
world.
going to do that every time Sybil comes up. I'm just going to be like, oh.
Oh, yes.
And
I die loudly.
Hashtag spoilers.
I nearly said what the
Yes.
best people do.
Yeah.
And joining us for his very first audio with TT Productions is Brandon. Welcome.
Hello. No point in me saying I'm Brandon because you've just said my name. So, yes, I am Brandon, and in this episode, I play Thomas Gray, the vicar. I had to think of it as
A man of cloth, sir.
Yes, I'm it's great, really. You know, I just get to preach about God, and yeah, it's
Shout at people in
Yeah.
episode 3, which I've been slowly editing as before we
I
started.
kind of just like feel
Oh yes,
like
I forgot there was a shouty bit. That's quite fun.
the vicar just like loses the plot throughout, doesn't he? It's just like he's very, very awkward, very quiet, very kind of humble man. And then he suddenly just kind of goes, right, no, that's it. I'm fed up with a lot of
done.
your shenanigans.
Nope, I'm yelling at people. I'm done.
Yep.
You're not listening to anybody
That
else.
was
You're going to
in-
listen to me.
It's like you see him turn around the cross, like in the thing, and going, "I'm sorry for what you're about to say."
Yes. Lord,
Yeah.
please forgive me.
Yeah,
I'm
Lord,
just
just
Yeah,
go watch
forgive
for
me
a
for
little
what I
bit.
do.
Like what? Just
Right.
look away for a little bit.
So right. Now I'm gonna start. I'm gonna pick on our regulars like I always do.
You always do.
Yeah.
Because like you mean you don't do enough work as it is. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
pick
Clearly
you
no.
not. No.
first and foremost. So we're on to story number 3 now for future.
Yeah.
Which seems to have gone really, really fast. What did you guys think of this one? Don't say it's rubbish.
No, I really liked it. Although I was like, what are scorpions? I'm like, is it a classic monster that I just haven't seen yet? Or did you actually come up with it? I was like, no, it's new. I'm like, oh, okay. So I didn't
This
miss
is
anything
an
major.
Ian creation out of the brain of Ian.
Yeah.
I did do that whole thing of like, plague doctors are cool. We like plague doctors. They're interesting. They're also quite terrifying when you think about the context of it. And then I just was a little bit like, what if when you took that mask off, it wasn't actually a human being underneath it? What would that actually be? And I kind of went from there.
Which makes
but-
it even more terrifying.
Yeah.
Especially when you get
does.
somebody drawing the picture of what the plague doctor looks like.
Yeah.
Which
And I
hopefully will
would
be finished by the time I
share.
edit this, and I will share it.
Yeah, I would.
It looks
share
really
now,
cool.
but it's not quite ready yet.
Cue me putting it up now.
We'll be on screen somewhere. Like,
Everyone
no.
respond, oh, look at
Oh,
that.
there it is. Yes, isn't it wonderful? Isn't it creepy?
But no, this one I think was quite nice because this is like the first one of the future series. It's not set up. You're actually on an adventure now. It's a very kind of classic kind of adventure.
The first one was kind of setting up me, and then the second was setting up almost Tina's character. This is kind of, we're off on an adventure now, proper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on my first alien planet. Well, in your alien
Well, yeah,
planet.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
for
God,
you,
for me at
aliens.
least.
That's my favourite
Let's
thing
get
about
excited
like,
about
No!
getting excited. Like,
Oh my God.
No.
I can just imagine Neve getting excited over a few different things that they wouldn't necessarily have had on track.
Also, like
Snow.
it's so me, the snow thing. Like when you would say, like, oh, by the way, our script is gonna have snow. I'm like, oh my God, really? It was like, oh, I can just be myself then. Okay, that's fun.
So for those viewing this, I do take a lot of inspiration when I'm writing these from the actors themselves. Put them in that scenario and think, how would they react to that? Oh my God, snow, this is so exciting. Get finding out about monsters and stuff like that. Let's just build a snowman and have a snowball fight or whatever.
Yeah, just screw the monsters. I'm building a snowman.
The monsters come near us. We'll just
Angels.
yes,
Like, no, not now.
Lob a snowball at
Move.
it. How did you get rid of that one? I threw a snowball at its face. And it
Yeah,
hissed and
just
ran
ras-
away.
throw ice.
Yeah.
Get speared through.
Yeah. Whoa.
So Amy, I'm looking at you now. Picking on you now.
Yes.
What's it like, really? Like working on the feature series generally? Because obviously you've been in 2 scripts now, and as we've already established, playing 2 very different roles. I mean, first of all, what's it like playing Amelia to start with?
It's very, very different. It's quite, for me, it's quite fun. There's also a bit, I don't know, it probably sounds daft, but it's a bit liberating because it's the opportunity of getting to portray so young again. I mean, I got to think back because, as I said, we haven't got a rough scale of her age, but we've put her towards that lower end of the teens.
Yeah.
Maybe only just coming into it. So could be anything from a minimum of about 10 up to about 13, 14. So it's great to kind of have that, use that innocence again and look at everything that way and put my mind's eye in back when I was like 13, 14 and, all of a sudden seeing someone like Nevaeh turn up, who Amelia, obviously, when you establish from the recordings, she's got a very, very stifled kind of bubble wrapped, what you would call a bubble wrapped existence.
Yeah.
So then having someone like Nevaeh come into her life, who's like, just call me Nevaeh, love. And so all of a sudden she's then being handed, it's basically like she's been handed keys to a bit more freedom.
Yeah, a bit more responsibility almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then when it comes to like all of a sudden her then stepping up and going, you go deal with one thing, I've got here. And all of a sudden she has like her own Nevaeh moment. I mean, everyone knows Nevaeh, all Nevaeh needs is a chair and she's happy.
Yeah.
And it's like I was saying to Ian when we recorded Amelia's battle scene with the Scovian, that you just needed like one line of Amelia just to go, now where's my chair?
Yeah.
Because all she needed, all of a sudden she just got given this breath and she was like, you could see her standing there going, I'm absolutely bricking this, but you know what? Nevaeh thinks I can do this.
Yeah, Amelia does go full on Ellen Ripley, and
she does. Yeah, she does the whole thing, and it's quite funny that she kind of also gets like when she does battle the Scovian, and she does get that kind of little bit sarcastic of the "Oh, I'm so sorry," and you're like, you start to see a proper full-bodied character to her, rather than what you would expect of her being like the high starched collar, because that's what her mother's making her wear, kind of thing, seen not heard kind of thing, which I think is also why she kind of gravitates to Sybil as well, because she gets more honesty, and
From
she's
them,
not
yeah.
just treated as this
Mm.
kind of little being who is an heir to a name or whatever. Sybil treats her like, look, you're smart enough, you've got brains in your head, not pretzels, kind of thing. You you can know what's going on. And she kind of uses what she finds out from Nevaeh and from Sybil, and is able to just build her own strength, as it were. And it's so much fun.
Those are some of my, I don't know how other people feel, those are some of my favorite scenes in episode 1, is the Amelia and Nevaeh, Amelia and Sybil, kind of those scenes. There's something really kind of relatable and personable, I suppose, about those. And talking about lovely, amazing characters that I choose to kill off very quickly because they are so lovely. Sybil Bennett. I mean, let's turn to Louise now.
Oh, poor Sybil.
I know, poor Sybil.
She wasn't in for
Sybil, my
long.
love.
No, but she obviously made a big impact on
Yeah.
Amelia, so that was
Yeah.
good. And
She'll never be forgotten by Amelia.
no, and poor old Zach.
Yeah.
Oh, bless him.
My wife.
my lovely hubby, bless him.
Yeah. He
No,
spends
no,
the
it was
rest of the script screaming.
yes,
As
loudly, if
usual.
I remember.
Very, very loudly.
Yeah.
I mean, does he do anything else as screaming? One of our scripts? Usually he's screaming in one of ours.
No,
He always seems to play somebody loud, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And impactful.
Generally, Zach is in here for screaming in pain,
Yeah.
screaming in terror, screaming in heartbreak, agony.
He's got all the emotions in this one.
Yeah, he does.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
we need to do is just
Especially as he
have him-
starts out pretty much like a bit of cardboard and a bit
Sound like a grumpy old man.
yeah, like someone off the Fast Show.
Yes.
A little bit like that.
He turned
Yeah,
into
and then
he turned into like a little bit of sort of someone off the Fast Show, kind of combined with Victor Meldrew, didn't
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
No idea what you're talking about, but sure.
Right, okay. Education for Tina, 1 Foot in the Grave, love. Just need to
Bit
watch
old.
1 Foot
Yeah,
in the
and
Grave.
definitely the Fast Show.
Yeah,
Yes,
look up
Fast Show.
One Foot in the Grave and the Fast Show. You
The
will
name,
not regret
the
it.
name alone is like, But-
It's fine. No, it's nothing dodgy
You'll
about it.
probably
You will-
recognise a lot of Whovian actors in
Ah,
the
really?
Fast Show.
Oh,
Yeah.
Never heard of
Fast
it.
Show,
Oh, okay.
definitely.
Like the
Yeah, there's
character
lots.
I can picture Zach as was Mark Williams, who's Rory's dad.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
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 Today I'll be mostly wearing like
Yeah.
that kind of
Mostly
character.
in
Yeah.
Holly.
Dolce and
Yeah.
Gabbana. Yeah. Whatever. So it's something so
Or is that
random.
Jeff? No, I'm not.
I don't know. I don't know.
Combination of the two, I think.
Yeah.
So Louise, what was your kind of feeling on your first experience of the Future series? How did you find it being part of
Well, I'm back, not my character, but I am personally back for another one. So
Mhm.
I loved it. I loved the live recording. I love doing my death scene. That was great fun. Hurt my throat, but
I love the little couple of extra bits that I got sent as well. The little
the humming.
humming in the background.
Yeah,
was
I
like,
did love
that's
hearing that.
perfect, because I was just like, I can just use that in, because something we didn't think about. I think when we did the live recording bit, and the fact that you sent it, I was like, oh yeah, and I can literally sort of put that in and fade it out and tweak it around, and it was just
Yeah, no, because I think
Adds a
I
bit of
said that.
character.
Yeah, I think when Ian asked me to do it, I said, "Well, what about doing the humming bit?" And he was like, "Yes, much easier."
Yes, do it.
Yes, much
It's
easier than
like-
having to trawl trying to find it.
the most bizarre thing about like being an editor as Matt is, or being a director as I am, or even as actors as we all have been at various points, is just kind of going right, go away, and what I'm going to need from you today is I need some humming, some screaming, and some heavy breathing in that order.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
not forgetting breathless running scenes where you have to pant to yourself,
Yeah.
basically make yourself faint because you
Yeah. You're like
doing that all the time. You're
doing
trying
like
to
really
run.
short of breath. You're like, okay, I'm giving like I'm
Yeah, you
becoming
wanna say words
lightheaded
at the
because
same
I'm
time.
pretending to be out of breath.
The
So
joys of a non-visual medium.
Yeah.
we're all just sat in our various rooms, places, houses, just
Yeah.
going.
With
Long
all our
reading.
significant others going, what the earth is
Yeah.
going on?
If the neighbours only could hear what you're like, what the hell is going on next?
Yeah, like what?
Yeah, she's blooming screaming now. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I know
you
them.
know,
There might be a murder. She's going, he's dead. He's
Yeah.
dead.
This is the bedlam of audio, which even though I know Brandon has some previous form doing other amazing projects outside of TT, this is his first one with TT and Future Series. How did you find coming into the TT world, the Future Series world? Brandon?
1 second, I've got a script written down here. I'm just going to read off this. No, I've got the right answer written down.
I'm paying you for this, and I get it right.
What did I think of that? That's so much easier.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's been a good experience. You know, it's nice to see so many people that just love the show. You know what I mean? And to see that so many of you have been kind of part of this kind of thing for so long as well. Because like for years I've wanted to get involved in like anything Doctor Who related. It's just that I never did really. You know what I mean? But now that I'm more involved with stuff like that, it's just brilliant. And yeah, it's making me feel younger again, I guess. So not that I'm that old anyway, but you know what I mean. It does keep you young, and I think you were saying before, somebody was saying about playing the Amelia. Obviously that type of character as well. It makes you feel young, doesn't it? But even just getting involved in a project like this, when you're working with somebody who's playing a young character, it makes you feel young as well, I suppose.
Yeah.
So,
Knock-on effects.
Hey.
Here, everyone feels 12 again. Here, have a candy pop.
exactly.
Don't, because you know writers are intrinsically evil.
Mm,
And now I'm going to be sat there kind of going, right, I'm going to be setting the next story in an old folks' home or something. I'm going to have you all
It
playing
was even
like
more difficult
characters
words
that
to say. Thanks.
yes. If anyone watching this hasn't watched any of the previous Behind the Duvet for Future, you won't know about the whole running. I'm going to say a running joke, but I don't think anyone but me finds it funny. Is that I keep on putting really long, complicated words in for people to say, particularly
Yeah.
Matt, because he's the doctor, so he should know them.
Yes.
I feel.
And actually, I think I did all right with these ones this time.
Yeah.
Dear.
Or words for me that are impossible to
Oh, yeah.
pronounce.
Lots of
Yeah.
shushes.
Yeah,
Anything with too many
I don't,
shuzzes,
I
if
don't
you know.
remember what sentence was. I was looking for it, but it was like
Oh,
it was shush shush. I was like, oh my god, how do I pronounce this?
yeah,
Like
there
in
was
a normal sentence and
there
not
was
just
a
like slowly.
3 words with
pronouncing.
like the sh that you
Yeah.
were
Like,
struggling with. I can't remember what it was now.
Yeah, like we don't
Okay.
have the
Bless you.
sh sound in Dutch, so I'm like, well, we do, but not in the beginning. I was
No,
like,
you have
oh
it
my
halfway
god, I'm
through.
just tripping over my own words here.
Oh, bless you. I always feel so sorry for you when we do the recordings, even when we do the script read, and even I look and think, we have enough trouble trying to
Oh,
trip
yeah.
over these words. How is it like
Mm.
poor Tina, who obviously, like you say,
Yeah,
you speak
But like
Dutch, so
when we do the script read, I just like usually glance over at Ian and I'm seeing him nodding like, okay, yes, I pronounced that correctly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you know what? I've got to say, I do love that. I mean, I come from an education background, so you imagine all the years that I've sat with students kind of going, yes, you've done it right, well done. And then this Tina kind of like, you can see on her face kind of going, and it's
Is that how you
this.
but then it's great because Ian all of a sudden is like, we're all like the little children of his class. We're like, we're
Yeah.
we're
you're
like,
well,
we're like
well
class.
done, Doctor. Have a star. You've
Yeah.
got transcendentalism. Like
We are,
today.
we are class future, and we are being taught by Mr. Harris.
Class future. I'm going to start doing star chart, I think.
How
Told you so
impressive is
well.
our death scene? Here, have a sticker.
Gold star.
You did really well. You can have a lollipop for dying. Really well.
Neighbours knock on your door wondering if you're still alive.
So it's just like, Louise, you died admirably. Have another star.
Yay!
Have a lolly.
You survived the next one. Here, you're the next sticker.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, there are less stickers for those who survive generally, unfortunately.
Yeah.
because,
You just get your card stamped.
How many do I get?
Or if it's
I'm a priest.
What happens when you get?
Plenty.
What happens when you get 6 stars? Do you actually live for a change rather than die?
you get a,
You
you get a
don't die.
really big, a
You're
really
like,
big
okay.
star, a really
It's
big
like a
star,
Get
and
a
a
really
really
big
dramatic
death
death.
scene.
Yeah, it's like a loyalty scheme. You know, if you die 6 times, you survive the next one. That's the way it
Okay, yeah.
works.
But
That's how it works.
you eventually aim for like the really big star, which means you get the most dramatic death
Yeah.
on audio
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the dragging it out and the
Either
like,
you get
whole.
either
proper
that, or you get
hamming
brought
it
back
up.
as like an epic villain, and you get to have like this
Ooh.
really awesome
Oh,
scene,
Oh, but
but you
that
get
would be
killed off.
cool as
Like,
well.
yes,
oh, I like that.
Mm.
I like
Mm.
that.
Oh no, I know that look on Ian's face. That's the
He's just like
taking ideas here.
I've been told as well that when I do these recordings and things, I don't have a good poker face for stuff like that. But the that's a great idea. I might use that. And little do they know I've already used that in a script face. Are very, very similar. So you know, like all bets are off.
Right.
Sorry,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, and myself and Matt never read further than the script that we're
No.
doing. So he like he could have felt like
He could
so much in
change it
the
for all
next
I know.
like,
I
yeah.
ain't got a
And we're
clue.
just like, we don't know. We just read the script as we're doing it. Like I only
Yeah.
read the new one last week because I'm like, no, it's
Yeah.
gonna confuse me if I like mix
But
them
this
up.
is the thing. I don't want to read too far. Like, I don't want to read too far ahead because I want to sort of concentrate on the one I'm doing and the one we're like recording.
Yeah.
So once the recording's done, then I probably will then go ahead and read the next one because
Yeah.
then I know what's happening. Like I can concentrate on editing the one we've just recorded. If that makes sense.
It does.
But yeah,
To me, it
I don't-
does.
yeah, I don't like sort of reading too far ahead. Possibly the other reason is I'm in a few different audios at once sometimes, and too many will get really
Yeah.
confusing in my head.
I mean, and we can read them because like we can see them where they are. We just
Oh.
don't.
But for me, it's great because like months and months will elapse, and then all of a sudden, someone will read one. Like, I mean, it's
Oh my
usually
god, I
like,
can't believe you did that.
yeah.
It's quite hard.
You get that whole kind of conversation, don't you? So,
Yeah.
like, why did you do that? I mean, it's really good. I love it, but why did you do that? And I'm
Like
sat
with-
here
Like
right
with
now.
the new one. Like with the new one, I won't spoil, but you were
Yeah.
like, you're one of the first people who recognized the character. Like when that was a new character, I was like, oh, is that person from this? And it was like, you're the first person to recognize. I was like, how? Like,
Gold
am I
star.
just
Oh.
yeah, but
Well,
I mean,
kinda.
is my brain weird for just remembering that like the side character? I'm like, I remember that character.
I just love that you remember that because actually this it all links in. But then this script in particular, I think was really, really enjoyable to write because it is so separate from everything. It's like a standalone adventure, and it's very much a classic Who type setup, isn't it? Oh,
Yeah.
you know, like
Oh yeah.
old. You know, it's a bit of the haunted town type script, and you know, there's the last few survivors holed up in the big house on the hill. It's a lot of classic tropes in there, but it's great because I was able then to focus on you guys, all of your characters, and developing the individual characters, particularly developing the relationship to the two regulars, but then and bringing in a new villain. It was all kind of like that, the fun stuff this time around, rather than kind of like linking loads of
Exactly.
stuff
And
together.
I love the little like there's because I've been doing all the editing and stuff, and I'm getting to sort of re-listen, as it were, to what we recorded, and just like the little lines where you've got like Amy and Tina talking to each other, going down the corridor, or you've then got like myself and Brandon talking just outside the manor house, or me and Rue, who was playing old Jethro, and my god, did he do that voice perfectly. When
That's
I read
excellent.
that,
I
when
love
I
that.
read that, I was thinking of that accent, and then Rue comes on, bearing in mind that, not realizing that Ian has cast somebody that I also knew, I didn't twig that it was Rue until he appeared on the screen. He looks a hell of a lot different from the last time I saw him, for one. So I didn't recognize him at first, but he did that character perfectly, and just the little sort of interactions between, I think, even with, was it Vicky and who's playing Martha? Is that right? Yeah, that's right. The mother, and you've got David who's playing
The husband.
Her husband.
Yeah, husband.
And even that little interaction between the two of them, just because they've got their own little scene, was just quite nice. Just hearing the people playing the characters just being able to sort of act with each other just on those little bits, just makes them feel just a little bit more human, in a weird way.
That's actually what I love about our live recordings as well. Like I've been in a few other things as well, and they tend, well, TT production is nearly always like this, but in other things that you just have to send in your lines. And I prefer this type of recording so much better.
Because
all the way.
Like you can interact with each other and you can play off what basically like Big Finish is doing. But I mean, there's a reason they do it like that, because it works.
It works.
Yeah, and it just means you don't have to sort of, you don't have to find, if me and you, Tina, are talking together and you're, I'm either muttering in the background, I don't have to find like a muttery bit or add a bit in, because I've already done it, and it just makes that scene.
Yeah. Or send the same line 5 times, but just a tiny bit different because you don't know what they're going for.
Or have to repeat the line because your dog barked halfway through. And then you end up swearing in Dutch. Sorry. Is it Dutch? It is Dutch.
Oh my God.
That almost never happens.
I was like, what was that? Oh, yeah.
That was hilarious. Was that a recording, by the way?
Yes, that was on
my God.
That will be in the outtakes. I have no idea what you said. I'm not even going to try and transcribe that because no.
I forgot that happened. Oh my God, yeah.
Oh, I want to hear that.
There's a few lovely
For
little
clarification, I was dog sitting my mom and dad's dog, and he wanted outside, and like he was sitting next to me, and we're like, okay, we're gonna record. Like, just shut up for a little bit, and then halfway when I was doing my line, he just started barking. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you dropped your laptop as well at one point, I think. So you heard the dog bark, you shouting, this great big clattering noise. I'm like, what on earth are you doing there?
Oh, dear. As Matt mentioned earlier on, obviously there are quite a few other people involved in this production. So let's just have a quick chat about them as they're not here. So whatever we like about them, but keep it civil. No, we've already kind of mentioned some of them, like, Zach as Hugh. I mean, bless him, that accent stuck.
I don't think he broke character for the entire recording. Even if he was messing lines up, he was saying it in like the character's voice, which was just even better.
And I think at one point during the recording, I think Amy wasn't there for one of the scenes that we had to do. We did it in a bit of a weird way. And he read in for Amy as Amelia, but still retained the voice of his character.
Oh my word.
It was just bizarre. It was just bizarre. You
all of a sudden Amelia's like, are you feeling all right?
He kind of just went Hugh Bennett, but like really high pitched and sort of like it was something out of like.
I wasn't expecting that.
It was horror movie-ish.
Yeah.
As Dennis like, I have now been scarred. Please bring Amy back.
Like, oh my God, bleach in my ears and eyes. No, it wasn't that bad.
But Zach also at various points provided the sound effects, and in fact, I think, was it between myself and Zach, we actually made the noises for the monsters.
Pretty much, yes.
Unwittingly, we just started hissing and screaming. Yes,
you started hissing, not realizing that I will save these hisses and I will edit them into some weird.
Me kind of going, I want it to sound a little bit like this, and I do the noise, and Matt just goes yoink.
That's been recorded in. Save.
I mean, it was, again, Zach was doing the noises for the TARDIS when in those scenes where Matt is basically talking to the TARDIS and beeping back in.
Beep, beep, beep.
When I'm getting beeps and I'm doing my bit and then I get a oop. And then I'm trying not to laugh because I then have to say a very complicated next line.
Yeah.
Yes. Cheers,
and then Tony sounds very upset and you hear
like that, so Red Dwarf sketch, with a squilluckle, then followed by a hanunga.
So I mean, like, kudos to Zach, really. I mean, he did have the full spectrum of human emotion in this one, and also played a TARDIS and a monster, and did like all these other bits, and played Amelia as Hugh, as Amelia, as Hugh, as Amelia at one point. Rue as old Jethro as well. We've already mentioned him, and I suppose, it's probably little surprise to people that Rue was in my mind when I wrote the character.
No.
Shocker.
Shocker.
You would not have guessed that just from the accent alone.
So, and I will, and he's probably going to kick me for saying this. This all comes from when we were at school together, because we haven't known each other that long, and we were in, I think, a GCSE play at one point, and one of his characters kind of sounded like a little bit of a younger version of old Jethro, and at one point he had to say the line, "Oh, rubber bristles," or something like that in that voice, and that stuck for years. We've never forgotten it. "Oh, rubber bristles." And that voice kind of wormed its way into my head, and I was just like, oh, Jethro, he's kind of like, if anyone's ever seen like some of the classic Who stories, like the Rebus operation, if anyone's seen that, I don't know. Yes. And there's, what is it, Binro, the heretic in it?
The heretic,
yeah. So it was him with that rude voice together. Was him, and he just came in and he, obviously nailed it, and he had a great, a whale of a time. Vicky.
Oh,
Vicky.
I love Vicky.
I adore Vicky.
Vicky as Martha. I mean, my goodness me! If anyone could have played Mrs. Cavendish,
there's no one else I could think of that could put David in his place.
Also, but I love that she's so young, but she played as the mother of Amy.
Yeah, we've really turned everything on here. Vicky's the youngest. Amy isn't quite as young as Vicky. I'm being polite here.
That's all right. I'm going to say I'm in my middle 30s, so
yeah, Vicky is 19.
So the youngest person playing the married woman, and Amy playing a young.
No,
I'm
playing
on our head.
Yeah, we just swapped everything.
Younger.
But the
Voice
thing,
acting.
Yes.
Yeah, the beauty of it all.
The beautiful thing about that was I always, when I was writing it, had Martha Cavendish as, being very austere and very quintessentially British, that whole thing, that kind of very RP kind of thing. And then Vicky auditioned for it, and I was just like, no, I've got it wrong. I've got it totally
She's
wrong.
Austrian.
yeah. But I kind of think that Edward Cavendish is the kind of bloke who travels around the world a bit and then picks up a lady as he goes around.
Yeah, and then David, the one with an American accent.
Yes.
And then they just ship Amelia off to boarding school, which is why she sounds so British.
Yeah.
She only comes back for the holidays, but then she's
and the plague.
Not heard.
Yeah.
And the plague.
Yes, come back to the plague. Distance.
She only came back for the plague probably because the school burnt down.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Yeah, probably because what you don't realise is like Amelia did it because she just got bored. She was just like, I need some reaction in my life.
Oh no, I'll just burn the school down. Don't tell
She's not that innocent, that one.
I miss Sybil. I need to go back and see Sybil.
What, you've still got her?
Yeah.
A second mum. But I mean, you can just picture it with Vicky's performance. You can picture this woman sort of like in her dresses, sort of just striding through the house, laying down the law a bit. And that scene, because we've literally just come off of listening to episode 1, that scene with Sybil where she comes in and just sort of like tells Sybil off in the kitchen. It's like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I kind of imagined her character wearing like the frilled high-necked dress, hair in a tight bun.
Yes.
Really sort of bustling in and being like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like a type of Professor McGonagall.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Sybil kind of just got Amelia and just going like that behind.
Yeah.
Like Amelia's like trying to like go under the table to try and not be noticed.
But what I love about all of that is that come episode 3, you've got these very strong characters like Hugh and Martha in the room, and then Father Gray comes in and just tears a strip off them.
Yes,
and
I literally just edited that particular sketch. We've literally done that whole bit where he literally comes in, loses his absolute hit, and has a massive go at everybody, and he's like, "Oh, Father Gray's got some on him." This meek and mild sort of vicar has all of a sudden gone, right, this is not happening, Mum. Give him a damn good dressing down.
I'm going to embarrass Brandon now. Sorry, Brandon. But the subtlety of what you did with that, I thought was just lovely, because Thomas Gray is this very, very awkward, bumbling kind of character, and he's very, very, very sweet, and he's just very, very nice. He doesn't really know what's going on. And actually, there's one scene I don't know. I'm going to ask you now whether you did this deliberately or accidentally, but we kept it in because it's perfect. You mispronounced Nevaeh's name. And I love that because it's just so him. Like I didn't really catch it.
Yeah, you said something like Nivea, something
Yeah.
like that.
All
Yeah.
right.
So,
And I'm like,
I mean,
do you know what?
this
I'm
is-
leaving that in because he's probably in the moment and it just worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just should imagine Nivea standing there like it's Nivea.
Like, oh my god. But it was brilliant as well, because like even when you really lost your rag at the end of it, you had this kind of nervous energy to you, like, you know, Lord preserve me, I'm not that, this is not who I normally am, but for goodness sake, people, pull your act together. And it was just lovely. It was just really, really great.
I think
I thought.
it was Hugh he started to have, because Hugh had just tried to
yeah.
take out me with
Yeah, out of the
something,
window.
and yeah, because Nevaeh was locked up in the cupboard or in the other room
Yeah.
or something.
As in the
He's
ward,
just like,
yeah.
oh, what is going on here? How dare you? This man's trying to help you, and blah, blah, blah. I can just imagine the doctor sort of stood there going,
Finally, someone who said it.
You're in trouble.
I love that whole bit as well. He's like, you know, the Nevaeh don't hurt him, and Nevaeh's going, it's actually quite strong, really. I'm not really sure I want to get into this. Before we get too sidetracked though, let's not forget there's a couple more people that I want to mention on this as well. David, obviously, playing Edward, who brought that lovely kind of like that kind of gentle Lord of the Manor, but that little bit of pomposity to it as well. It's like, you know, I'm very kind. Yeah, I'm here for my parishioner. I'm here for my, like, you know, the people of the town and whatever. But I have tea. That's how successful I am. I've got tea.
Everything stops for tea.
Yes.
Oh my god, that's
It
so
has to be
British.
the good tea.
Yes, the good tea, the proper tea. This is a man who's clearly doing very well for himself.
He's clearly travelled.
Yes. Absolutely loved that. And, you know, like, again, David has this way of bringing that kind of subtlety to the character, bringing that little bit of depth, because he could have just been a bit of a wet sort of character, just a bit sort of a bit of a push around, a bit of a pushover, but he's not at all. He's quite sort of forceful at times, and kind of puts his foot down. In that lovely scene between him and Vicky where they have their little spat.
Yeah,
that's the best bit, is when you do see, because like you say, it could have been done like such a wet blanket, especially because Martha is seen as like this proper, although it is the man of the house. You know, when you walk into that Cavendish Manor,
she's wearing the
under that,
Yeah,
under that skirt,
under that bustle,
under that skirt and bustle, she's got the trousers on. And so it was nice that he used that, and you had that nice, like, it's a bit like a little volley between him and Vicky, and it was just, hats off to him. It was brilliant.
And the last person that I'm going to make sure that I mention, and we try and mention him every time because he's awesome, is good old Jim. Jim, the music man.
Music.
He is the music man.
He is the music man. So, Mr. York, his brief for this one, I literally just messaged him and just went, "You've seen Revelation of the Daleks, right?" And he went, "Yeah." And I went, "Bit like that, please." That was kind of it.
It was like, right, 4 different tracks, I think, was it this time?
Was that four or so different tracks?
Yeah.
And the one that you hear at the beginning of episode 1, I mean, he absolutely nailed it, because it was, for those who've seen Revelation of the Daleks, you know, the opening scene. Watch it, Tina, definitely watch it.
Me just calling.
She's making a list. Here's my plastic.
You're making a list.
Yeah, it's
Like,
getting longer. This list of watching stuff is getting longer.
Yeah, probably.
But the beginning, the opening scene of Revelation of the Daleks is, you see the planet Necros, don't you? And then you've got that lovely score coming in, and then the TARDIS appears in the snow. And that just went round and round my brain when I was writing this, probably because of the snow, the kind of like the horror kind of elements of it. And so I just went, Revelation of the Daleks, please, and go from there. And he just nails it. He just delivers it. Absolutely delivers it. So now
he does it every time. Every time the music is spot on.
It's spot on for each, and it's perfect, because there are certain tracks that, from an editor's point of view, certain tracks I can use for certain different, and because he's labelled them, I think that particular piece is called he's called it the Winds, I think, or something like that, and it works perfectly, because then it comes in and that's all you hear is wind, so it kind of makes you think that it's all stormy and blustery and force 10 gale or something outside the TARDIS doors or whatever. And then there's another one which I think is think it's called the Abandoned, which I use as to try and sort of make it feel a bit dark and something's about to happen. And a couple of others, and it's just each one I've never been disappointed yet with Jim and stuff, because each one, when doesn't matter which one he's done for us yet, I can use certain snippets for certain bits of into in between scenes and stuff, especially if it's like two interior scenes from crackling fireplace to crackling fireplace. You might need a bit of something in between.
The crackling fires that are too loud every time.
So unfortunately for our next group of future stories, the crackling fire budget is low.
How is it?
We've
No
kind of
crackling
used
fires.
We've used them all up for
Yes,
these
we
first
have.
few
Instead, we've got
stories.
lots of beeping.
Yeah.
Loads of
But
metal
I've actually
clanking.
saved. This is the thing: is that when I find some certain tracks that I need to, like, especially for like the backing tracks and stuff, that I know I will end up using more than in one story, I will then save them so I don't have to go find them. So if I need tapping noises for console buttons, I've now got a few different ones saved. I've even got, and I don't think, you guys won't have heard it yet because we'll be releasing them over. But I've found about 3 or 4 different beeps for the TARDIS. So hopefully that ones will sort of mean different things.
I know what you
Slightly
mean.
more of an emergency sort of beep. That's more of a questiony beep. It's like, yes, but, and then sort of a different one that will mean something else. So I'm turning it into C3PO.
Basically,
hopefully
want-
listeners will be able to think, oh, that beep means it's found something and it's fairly urgent, or that beep means it's telling the doctor something he needs to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just hope all I want to hear is the TARDIS when when Doctor does something like really dumb or stupid, and just goes. Beep.
Or the old bleeping noise that they use when people swear on TV.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love that idea of the doctor just kind of going, "What's wrong, old girl?" and you just get this string of TARDIS expletives coming out.
Beep, 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 beep.
Do
You
it.
bother to repair the
Error.
bleeping chameleon circuit. Bleep him before.
Oh, yeah.
Bleeping problem, doctor. I just can imagine.
Error.
Brilliant.
Rebooting.
Yeah.
Do-do-do-do.
Why do I think Idris is going to make a reappearance, and she's just going to reappear in the middle of the TARDIS and just give him what for and then fade out again?
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't give in ideas.
Oh, don't. I mean, that's filed back here somewhere. I'd love to bring Idris back because what Neil Gaiman's writing is just superb.
Oh, I loved that character. I
Love
cried
that
my
stuff.
eyes out during that
I
episode.
mean,
She was
it's Neil
fabulous.
Gaiman. What do we expect? That man is just like, oh.
Genius.
I
Yeah.
only rewatched that episode last night, actually.
Did you? Did you? I've got there's someone that I work with in another context who always will come up to me randomly and just go, "We're dying, me love," like that, because those lines from that episode had just struck such a chord. And it's that kind of humor, it's that kind of dark humor in it as well. It's absolutely brilliant, isn't it? We're going to digress into just chatting about Doctor Who now, aren't we, really? In general,
It all links back.
But yeah, so I mean, I think we've probably rambled on for long enough. But it's
As usual.
but it's going to be great to see most of you, except Brandon, but hopefully Brandon will be coming back at some point. Hopefully we haven't put him off. There he goes.
There he goes.
He's gone. He's already gone.
Oh, he's gone.
He's gone.
There will be more stories because Ian has finally got me writing. So I am actually, I don't know whether Tina realizes this, but I am actually writing one of our stories, Tina.
Ooh.
Ooh, very
Brace yourself,
nice.
Tina.
With a bit of
Yeah.
help- with a
Yeah,
bit
there'll
of
be lots
help
of chair
from,
throwing.
Yeah, probably.
Well, possibly. I don't know. But put it this way, with a bit of help from another one of our TT writers, Abby. She's helping to write a bit, so I won't say too much, Tina, because I don't.
Ooh,
want to spoil the surprise
exciting.
for you.
I just have
Spoilers.
visions. Nevaeh has a fight with a monster in a furniture store.
Look out, IKEA. Here comes,
Yeah.
comes the
No,
mayor.
no, because that means she's got to build it
This is the
herself.
theme
Yeah,
of this
true.
episode. We're going to
Why-
IKEA. Right.
Why can't I just imagine, like Nevaeh, they're kind of desperately screwing together a Benno bookcase just so she can lob it.
Be like, why
Like,
have I got
give
a
me your
spare-
screwdriver.
I've
With
got
the
a
with the
thing.
Benny Hill music playing.
Yeah. And all of a sudden she turns up and is like, and I'm from a different planet. What on earth is an oobleek?
you
A
can,
sonic Allen key.
Allen key towards it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so many ideas.
Yeah.
But that's going to be nice because we've got a couple more. There's a couple more stories penned by my good self, and then I've just kind of like gone delegate to other people, which is really exciting because it's not just Matt. We've got a couple of writers coming to the future. So that's really exciting. That's for the future.
Future next few episodes down after the Christmas special.
Down the line. By the time this comes out, the next story that you'll be looking out for is Chanchela, and Chanchela features most of the people on this call.
In different capacities.
In different ways.
Absolutely, and some of them actually survive this time.
Some of them finally hit puberty.
Major spoiler alert. Some people do. This Zoom may survive the next story.
Like all future stories, some people survive, some people don't. Stay tuned to find out who.
Survival
The
is
writer,
never guaranteed.
he survives.
If you want this person to survive, press this button.
Yes.
Vote for your favorite.
Do like a Dimensions in Time thing.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
Anyway, we'll probably
Before we go down that rabbit hole.
The duvet here. Thank you so much for joining us, YouTube. How do we stop doing?
Thank you very much, and yes, and stay tuned for the next story.
Yeah.
Yeah.